and welcome to Solent Sports News. It's a big weekend in the Premier League, in particular for Saints fans. However, first up.
Picking out Mkhitaryan in towards Aubameyang. He chips the goalkeeper. It's a lovely finish.
One of the most hotly anticipated North London derbies in recent history kicks off the Premier League weekend tomorrow as Arsenal take on Tottenham Hotspur at Wembley. Arsenal's record signing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is already drawing comparisons with Spurs star striker Harry Kane ahead of this one. The Gunners have also been buoyed by the arrival of Henrik Mkhitaryan and Mesut Ozil signing a new deal, but face a Spurs side in great form both at home and on the road. Arsenal boss Arsene Wenger has said that it is just another game and Champions League qualification has to be the priority.
For us, it's an opportunity to come back in the table, closer to the Champions League spot, and that is the priority.
Jacob Potter has joined us in the studio to look ahead to Saints' next game. Jacob, who has Southampton got this weekend?
So Liverpool travelled to Southampton this weekend as the Reds are looking for all 3 points and possibly a couple of the Saints players to add to their growing collection of former Southampton players. One of the most recent players to swap St Mary's for Anfield is Liverpool's £75 million record signing Virgil van Dijk. The Dutch defender is expected to be fit to face his former club, and Southampton midfielder James Ward-Prowse remains fully focused on getting points with Saints and not on friendships with former teammates.
Simply playing for play.
People move on, and that's fair enough for him. It was a decision made by the club, and that's his career path. But for us, we have to make sure that we do everything we can to win the game because we are in a tough situation, and we need the points to climb up the table.
And the team news coming out of the game, Ragnar Klavan and former Southampton midfielder Adam Lallana are expected to return for Jurgen Klopp's side, but Joe Gomez is still ruled out with a knee injury. Whilst Jack Stevens has certainly stepped up for Southampton since Van Dijk's departure, netting 3 goals in as many games, Charlie Austin remains the only absentee for the home side with a torn hamstring. And Jurgen Klopp will certainly be looking to improve his form against Southampton, having only won 2 games of the last 9 two wins in the last 9 games against Saints. That's all we have time for.
Thanks very much indeed, Jacob. The man at the centre of an unsuccessful transfer deadline day move has taken a big step towards deciding his future. Leicester winger Riyad Mahrez has returned to training with Claude Puel's side, but is not expected to feature against Manchester City this weekend. The Algerian was left unhappy at the Foxes after his move to Pep Guardiola's side didn't materialise on the final day of the window. Claude Puel says he needs to get his mentality right.
I hope Riyad can get his head right and to come back with us and to hard work and to see for him the best way.
A Premier League striker is at the centre of a racial attack scandal. West Brom striker Jay Rodriguez has been charged by the FA after allegedly racially abusing Brighton defender Gaetan Bong. Rodriguez has released a statement maintaining his innocence and is said to be in disbelief after being charged. West Brom have also voiced their support for the forward. One of Britain's medal hopefuls has been ruled out of the Winter Olympics through injury. Katie Ormerod was due to compete in her first Winter Olympics but suffered a fractured heel during training. Dame Catherine Granger, who is the UK sport chair, remains optimistic that Ormerod will make a full recovery and compete at the top level of snowboarding.
Only in time that it sinks in what you might have missed out on, but the great thing is she's at a young enough age that she's got a long career still ahead of her. Every disappointed, and as you mentioned, the many lows of my career. You don't wish them on anyone, but they can, if you handle them right, make you a better athlete because of it.
The Winter Olympic ceremony is currently taking place in Pyeongchang, where British hopefuls aiming to create history. Britain have been set a record target of 5 medals in this Olympics, despite Ormerod's injury. The Pyeongchang Olympics have already been embroiled in controversy due to the erasing relations between North and South Korea. Whilst both countries will compete under one unified flag in some of the team sports, North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un also used the publicity to put on a public show of strength after moving a military display forward. Despite all of this, South Korean is happy the 2 countries are putting their differences aside.
The Korean people, we are divided 2 countries, but one people actually. So I want to see the One Korea parade in the opening ceremony. Yeah.
England face Wales at a mouth-watering tie at Twickenham tomorrow, with many dubbing the winner of this match as the overall winner of the Six Nations. Following a 34-7 demolition of Scotland at the Millennium Stadium last weekend, Wales will have a new sense of confidence despite being lumbered with 13 injuries. England, who put on a great display in Rome to beat Italy 46-15, have never lost at home under head coach Eddie Jones and are looking to replicate last year's Grand Slam. We sat down with Welsh legend Shane Williams, who was also crowned the IRB World Player of the Year in 2008, to find out his thoughts before the biggest match of the weekend.
If I had to pick one player from each side, that's going to be dangerous on the weekend, it'd be Watson for England. Been playing particularly well in the Viva Premiership. Scored 2 tries on the weekend, looking very dangerous. And Steffan Evans for Wales, his work rate is phenomenal. He scored as well on the weekend. Goes looking for to get his hands on that ball as often as he can, and we'll be wanting that as Welsh people on the weekend. Both teams are very blessed that there's a lot of good young players coming through that'll probably be putting their hands up for the next World Cup. Whoever wins on the weekend will probably go on and win the Six Nations. England at home, at Twickenham, at their home is always very tough. But if Wales can go there and win, your confidence goes through the roof. And obviously Wales will have 2 home games and have to go to Dublin. If England win this, I see it very difficult for anyone else to catch them. Ireland will be the only team really that can catch them, but they're playing in Twickenham as well.
Ireland could hand a debut to 20-year-old tomorrow against Italy. Leinster's Jordan Labour has been named on the bench for Joe Schmidt's side, who overcame France last weekend thanks to a Johnny Sexton drop goal at the death. The home side will be expecting to claim maximum points against an Italy side that conceded 7 tries last weekend. And finally,
simply playing for places, it is Altior, last year's Supreme winner. It's going to give Nicky Henderson a 6th win in the Arkle, and it is Altior who wins.
Last year's star novice chaser returns to the track on Saturday. Altior is back and will face just 2 rivals in his seasonal debut at Newbury. His trainer Nicky Henderson admits he is at his most vulnerable of a first defeat over jumps, following a procedure to improve his breathing. If all goes well, it's all systems go for the champion chase at Cheltenham Festival next month. That's all from us now. We'll see you at 2 p.m. Don't forget you can follow all the latest on Solent Sports News on Twitter. You can like us on Facebook, and later on we'll be previewing the rest of the Premier League action. We'll see you at 2 o'clock. Thanks very much indeed for listening.